governors. And so the patterns is something that has been happening. And the messages that have been very, 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 very clear. I asked my team, the young people, and on Tuesday they said, we're not too sure whether we should come to work because of security. So I said, well, fair enough, that's a reasonable concern. So I said, okay, take the day off. So I go on social media, and who do I see? The young people who are taking the day off, saying it's security issues are the ones who are, some were tweeting, some were on the street, some were mobilizing. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And we decide to find out and just talk with them and hear some of the key things that they were finding out. So let me just look at it from two perspectives. The first one was from the communication architecture of the government, because we've had a lot of discussions. We've had the head of state talk about failure of communication. Three things that came out clear from all this was one, there seemed to be a lack of listening from the administration, and not just listening, feedback. It seemed to be one-way communication. But we are now in an interesting age where one-way communication doesn't quite work. You're able to post something and get feedback immediately. So it seemed like there's a sense of we're not really listening. We're telling you, we're presenting policies, and we expect that the policies would be as good and take them the way it is, no feedback. Then there's also a lack of what we're finding out as resonating information, meaning that information is disseminated, but it is not connecting. It seems abstract, and it's also contradictory. I think some of the issues have been raised up already, where you're finding that you're talking austerity, but we are seeing people with the bling-bling, with the conspicuous consumption, and a lot of the Gen Zs were saying there's a disconnect between what you're telling us and what we are seeing. There's also a very abstract language that is being used to try and disseminate policy. And I think Danish alluded to that when you talk about we've set out billions to persons who, it's a bit abstract to what those billions really mean. The other third thing we did see was that there seems to be a general breakdown in what you would call the system that is supposed then to communicate. We are having too many centers, seemingly, to communicate. We are not too sure, the public. Is it a State House? Is it the government spokesperson? Are they the line ministries? And what are they saying? There seems to be something that is not working quite right there. Now, we also found out some interesting things about the messages that are coming out. The messages that are very clear, and we're trying now to understand and unpack the concept of accountability. Everyone has talked about accountability, but the accountability is seemingly taking a certain form. One is we're introducing, or the term, a moral revolution is seemingly now starting to come out from some of the focus groups, from some of the conversations at chatter online. And when we try to interrogate a moral revolution, what we are finding is a movement like clean up the pulpits, occupy the churches, and interrogating that further when you talk to them, the people pushing it, you're finding that concept of a moral revolution. Then the issue of one other message that we're finding coming out is on the issue of jobs and opportunity. But that has been said over and over again. But what's interesting is it's connected to dignity, human dignity. So we're now trying to join the dots. It's not just a quest for jobs and opportunity, but it's a quest for dignified existence. So we're still just trying. These things are evolving, so we're also trying to make sense of them as they go. Now, we also noticed something that happened. When the protests were starting, the messaging was moderate. It was very moderate. It was reasonable. There was a bit of rational thinking around it. It was about these are our issues. We expect you to listen to us and to prescribe a solution. Now, when there was a failure of feedback, and the first moderate message was really when they were saying, let's oppose the finance bill. But the reaction, the one-way communication model and the one-way top-down, this is our approach. We've now seen the messages moving from moderate to radical messages. Radical messages like, let's just burn everything down. Let's change the administration. Ruto must go. So those are some of the messages that we're seeing. So from very moderate to a very radical approach to issues. And we think that certainly, I do think that certainly communication could have played a significant role right at the start when things were really a bit moderate. Could there have been a certain approach? Now, to bring it home to the media, we also try to analyze and look at the conversations online. Now, the interesting thing is both sides are so polarized right now. I think the government has also been brought it's been pushed to the wall. But initially that wasn't it. But Gen Z has also, like I said, the message has moved from moderate to radical. And the media has goodwill. That's one of the things we found from the conversations and just some of the focus groups. The media has goodwill because, one, from the Gen Z's perspective, they did not censure the protests. They showed them as is. So there's goodwill right there. On the government side also, it seems that there's a bit of goodwill because the possibility of the media also gave a voice, gave a platform, including the interview on Sunday and numerous other platforms. So what do I see as an opportunity? I see an opportunity to maintain that role of a neutral arbiter and to be the voice of reason that brings everyone together. Because they're talking at each other right now. So we're seeing that the media has an opportunity to create platforms in which it could start by bringing different sides, even before all these groups can sit around the table. That's what we're saying for now. Now, as things evolve, we're not sure how things evolve, but we will still be monitoring and trying to analyze the trends. But we see an opportunity for media to actually provide that platform for not just, I would not call it, I know the word dialogue has been misused and has been overused, but I would say a platform to drive meaningful and national conversation that allows people to unclench their hands and to sit around the table. I think that opportunity is there. And it's a window that if not taken, that space will be taken by someone else.